concept of gaming has been around for years, whether it's through PlayStations, arcades, or even mobile. At least one has come across a game in their lifetime. However, there has been an increasing interest in esport. In fact, the International Olympic Committee announced in April this year that it was organizing to slate at least 5 esport events to be staged ahead of the Summer Games this year in Tokyo. The Olympic Virtual Series were to feature competitions in auto racing, baseball, cycling, rowing, and sailing. My name is Mercy Milanoe, and this is Moolah Insider, where we are all about personal finance and your relationship with money. And this week, we are at the 5-star gaming lounge at the heart of Nairobi's CBD, where we are taking a deep dive into the world of esport. And remember, if you haven't watched our previous episodes, be sure to log on to www.moolah.co.ke and link with us on our social media pages. Now, a few years ago, gaming was not quite a profession. In fact, there was minimal investments in gaming zones. However, the narrative is changing. Now we have pro gamers such as Brian DeYanga, known as the Beast, and Sylvia Gathoni, known as Queen Arrow, who are gamers and mentors in this sport. The growing interest has also given an opportunity to entrepreneurs such as Gift Maura to invest and establish competitive gaming parlors where people can learn, practice, and even compete in tournaments. Take a look. Clearly, I am not a pro in this, but what I can remember is that when I used to be young, I used to play such games. Of course, the technology wasn't this much, but now the technology has really grown, and even we have Kenyans who are playing pro and competing globally. Well, this week we're all about the business of e-gaming and also looking at the people who are taking advantage and putting up businesses and gaining from the sport of esport. So I may not be a pro, but you'll get to meet some pros. About 1/3 of the entire world population are gamers. According to Statista, there are currently more than 2.4 billion gamers in the world, and Kenya has not been left behind. Brian DeYanga, also known as the Best, has been gaming for as long as he can remember.
I remember I was in nursery school, and my uncle had come back home with this Terminator. The console was called Terminator, and it had a gun. And you know, back then we were watching a lot of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Commando, and Chuck Norris, so we were like police and robber all the time. And then he brought the gun home, and I was like, wow, so you can shoot things on the screen. And it's from that point I fell in love with gaming, and it proceeded on. I went to class 1. There was a gaming cafe open next to my school called After Homework. Apple took a finesse, and I became good, and I just continued. And then in another phase of my life, things were very dark, and now gaming became my escape. Like, my new reality was gaming. Like, everything didn't make sense. The only thing that made sense for me was gaming. So most of the time I would be found at gaming dens.
A few years ago, gaming was not much of a profession. However, now we have pro gamers who are making a living not only in Kenya, but across the world. The gamers have moved from playing just for fun to competitive tournaments and companies coming to sponsor these tournaments.
Professionally, I started gaming, I think, in 2013. Professionally now, for money. When I realized you can get money from this, I started from 2013, and to date I've been doing that. The EAG, East Africa Gaming Convention, that was the first check I had, but I had been in many tournaments before this. This was in 2017. So, but before that I had gotten a few zile marupurupu ndogo ndogo, like, you know, yeah. But this was the main one that I ever got, and then after that it just continued.
The growth of esports has not only opened doors of opportunities not only for gamers, but for entrepreneurs who own gaming parlors, designers, and distributors of gaming equipment.
My name is Gift Mirie, the co-owner and founder of Banabo Gaming Lounge. Welcome to the world of gaming.
Gift Mirie and his childhood friend took advantage of these opportunities to make their dream a reality of owning a game parlor.
My partner Ocheno and I are very good friends since we were kids. We've been neighbors since we were like 5 or 6. And one thing we always did together was play games, video games together. So we loved playing PS, playing FIFA, playing Tekken, and anything that comes with it. And so we always used to do it within our small cohorts of friends. And so one thing that we actually came out to see is that we really loved spending time gaming. So when we were in campus, because none of us owned a PS at the time, we used to go to different outlets in town to actually play games. So the place called Tricks, a place called Campus Mall, Hasina Towers, I can remember all of them. And we'd spend a lot of time and money there. So we looked at it and said, it's actually a viable business that can actually make profit and it's fun to do.
The business is now home to both amateur and professional gamers and hosted the first eSport tournament organized by Kenyans on Twitter.
We did a FIFA tournament. It was the first esports tournament done in Kenya, organized by KOT. So we had a gentleman called Joel who won. He was part of a team of 32 guys who competed from the very beginning. Ultimately, I think we had 150 guys who came through to the location. It was very bad for traffic, to be honest, but very good for ourselves as a business, as well as cross-selling opportunities for other stores around us. So the guys who sell beverages and food also got to thrive from interaction from people who actually came for the tournament.
With the rise of esport across the globe, thousands have been sustaining themselves with their earnings from the tournaments, with some pocketing more than 1 million USD from tournaments. However, according to Pro Gamer, The Beast, Kenya has a long way to go, especially due to the geographical location, not only of the country, but the continent as well.
Geographically, where we're placed, most of this equipment is expensive. That's number one. Number two, if you look at the poverty and whatever ratio in Kenya, poor people are many of them. Like, there's a lot of poor people than rich people. So, like, from my experience, what I've seen is people who are well off, like, most of them don't put like 100% while doing this. You know, they're doing it for kicks sometimes, it's for leisure, but for somebody like me, when I decided it's this, it's either that or I'm missing a form. So somebody can do it as a career, yes, but I think it will take time before you can say that you can do it standalone. So like for me, I have to balance. So I work for Pro Series Gaming and I do for them what we call, I'm a junior league esport operator. So my job is to do online and offline tournaments, from setup, arranging guys, making the rules and making sure the tournament happens. I do photography, I paint, I do graphic design. So this enables me to balance with my gaming. So, you know, haba na haba, jazz. But if we were in a place like US or Europe, I'd live off this easily. I mean, look at the world, the most paid or the highest paid YouTuber with the highest following is a gamer. It is not even a professional gamer. He's a streamer. He just makes content from gaming. So it's very possible. And with the light that is being shed on gaming at this specific time, it brings the goal closer.
Sylvia Gathoni, also known as Queen Arrow, says as much as esport is rising in Kenya, there's a lot of awareness that needs to be done for it to be accepted as a viable career, especially for young people.
We need the society to come in and start accepting technology. And by accepting technology, it also means accepting the careers that may potentially come from it, like esports, and also understand that all games can also be can also have educational value. And number two, we also need the government to start stepping in by providing funding and tax subsidies for stuff like consoles and televisions and such.
Despite the current shortcomings in the sport, Gift and The Beast agree on one thing: the future of esport in Kenya is bright.
The opportunity that we saw was two. One, there was a partnership opportunity with a lot of sponsors who actually would target an audience that is similar to ours. Remember, the guys were targeting guys within the teenage years and maybe the 20s who have been gamers throughout their entire life. They're looking at opportunities in which they can actually target such a market and actually make the most out of it. So we've seen an opportunity whereby we can actually grow not only as an e-sport sort of thing, but also on a location point of view. So we can only accommodate a maximum of 8 people here, but if we can grow it to be something further that has a lot of tournaments within either regions such as Nairobi and Mombasa and Kisumu, or even getting a national champion, can be really good. We've seen competitions in the world whereby we have people competing. Even I think recently there's one which was done by a PSG whereby we had people from Kenya competing with guys in Nigeria for an ultimate prize. So hoping that we can actually scale and tap into that sort of market whereby guys can actually get to come to a place like Manabao and actually train, build up the skill, and actually sign up for a big global tournament. Who knows? It can be the world champion of FIFA.
In 2019 alone, more than 235 million USD was awarded across more than 5,400 tournaments.
That's compared to just 13.8 million USD recorded by tracking website Esports Earnings in 2012.
What makes the earnings in those places high is, number one, they have corporates supporting them, behind them, a lot of them, you know. For us here, I can say Safaricom, I can say Red Bull, and a few others, Liquid Telecom, and it's just them. And then nobody else is into gaming. But if you look at somewhere like US, man, if you look at the sponsors down there, Asus Computer, Rogue Computer, I don't know, Astro, there's every brand is there, Samsung, Sony, everyone is there. Those are just the brands for the bado jaingia kwa companies too on the side, you know. So it's like they understand what this is, and that's what that's what we are trying to do right now, is to make the masses understand this. Because imagine if this was able to pay the way it pays out there. I mean, so many youth like you, mambo ya joblessness tena itakuwa cut by half, because there's a lot of people who can game even better than me out here, you know, and they just need such opportunities. I mean, somebody just came and said, wow, this guy can game, and they gave me the opportunity and I took it, you know. So there are many other people out there who can do it even better than me. They just need to be exposed. They're not going to be exposed by one company. We need a lot of companies to invest in this, because, I mean, if you look at the future we are heading into, it's a tech future, you know.
With increasing awareness and corporate support in esports in Kenya, Brian, Sylvia, and Gift can only look forward for a brighter future in the world of esports.
So what does it take to set up a gaming parlor? Step 1, your choice of location. Your location can either break or make your business. Step 2, carry out a small survey. In fact, talk to your friends and families. Let them know what kind of location they would want for a gaming parlor, what games they'll want to play, and of course, what they're looking forward to. This will help you in establishing your gaming parlor. Thirdly, rent a room and polish it up. And of course, whether you're renting or not, make sure that you're polishing it up and it can accommodate several machines, chairs, and even have some space for expansion in the future. Also, make sure that you are able to polish it up to give it the make and feel of a gaming parlor. Step 4, shopping and buying for your equipment. You will require, of course, number 1, a TV screen, a few consoles, pads, and other accessories which are minimal to start a gaming parlor. Step 5, your licenses. You need a single business permit, which is issued by the county government. Now, the cost may vary from one county to another. Also, you need a music copyright license. You will need the license if you'll be playing music in your premises. If you're planning to open the business within the boundaries of Nairobi County, then you should be prepared to set aside at least 35,000 shillings for licenses and rates. Now, this depends on the county and location of your business. The other thing is attracting new customers, and retaining them is another area that needs to be taken care of. Now, 50% is one with your location. Now, that has to be accessible. The other 50% is coming up with good marketing strategies such as social media and even tournaments to retain and attract new customers. Now, how much do you invest when starting a gaming business? Now, there is no umbrella cost for any gaming business, but the minimal cost is about 100,000 shillings. And like any other business, start small and keep reinvesting your profit for at least the next 6 months. Now that you know what it takes to establish a gaming parlor, let's take a look at our word of the day. Now, our word of the day is esport, what we've been talking about the entire time. Now, esport stands for electronic sport. The word esport is used to describe a video game that is played professionally and competitively. The most popular esports are League of Legends, Overwatch, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Well, you are watching Moolah Insider, and remember, if you haven't watched our previous episodes, log on to www.moolah.co.ke and link with us on our social media pages. You are watching Moolah Insider. Now we're heading on to our episode of The Pursuits, and this week, Emmanuel Jambo is an icon in the photography industry. Jambo shares with us his experience behind the lens, from how he quit his job in the United States to come to Kenya to visit his sister and ended up finding a new inspiration and new opportunities. Take a look.
He's a photographer, a creative, and a goofball. I just had quit my job. I was working, and then I had a studio at home. I started getting gigs around Atlanta, and I decided to quit. I decided to quit and go full time. It was still slow. It was just that during that phase where I wanted to explore outside America. It was a long time that we never left the States, so I just decided, I'm like, let me come visit my sister. Let me come chill here. And a week later or two, somebody talked to the publisher for the magazine, and I went for a good interview. And another guy, I don't know if you know Yunga Pala, he was the editor for Adam magazine. We just had the best conversation, and he's like, you're gonna explore Africa, we're gonna travel all over. And like, this is an official interview, and he's like, dude, go pick up your straight up and come home. So I picked up my stuff and I moved. They had like a very, experienced photographer that's been working with them for over 20 years. So he's responsible for the cover and the main, I was doing a little bit of features here and there. One day I was given to shoot the cover, and it was nominated best cover in South Africa. So I felt like that, I think that was my first big break. The mistake a lot of people do is like, you make your first money and you want to buy rims or buy nice clothes. I start buying lenses, start putting it into the equipment. I bought a digital camera because I started with film. So every money was coming in, I was just putting it back. Before you know it, now you have a full studio, with lights and everything. You just have to sacrifice, I guess. You don't burn your money on anything. Just focus, equipment, and whether it's a computer, software, or even learning more, because you can never stop learning. You have to buy softwares. And the minute I set up the studio, when I decided to set up the studio, now you invest, you rent a location, you set up, you buy furniture, more computers. Yes, you get to hire, I guess, manpower, salaries come in, but the reward is much, much better. I wouldn't have gone so commercial. Sometimes, well, it's difficult to answer that question because you need the money, and I had to put my artistic expression aside for a little bit. And sometimes you work, sometimes you don't. Because for me, I think it worked out because I needed the money. Got the equipment, got the exposure. It was a great achievement. Forbes Africa is like, the who and the who. So I felt really good about it. I knew definitely I'm on the right path. Because the whole point, I think, at some point in Africa, creative work, whether it's photography or cinema, it's controlled by European, a lot of DOPs, photographers. So the reason I was there is like, young Black African creative doing things that it was done by European or Western, so it was really, one of my highlights, I could say. I could say we go way back. I shot his brother's wedding, and that's when we met. So I started doing a lot of functions for the family. We did some shoot when he was the Minister of Finance. It's been fun. It's been a nice ride. If you're self-employed, you don't work for nobody, but you still have to work. A month and you're gonna have to go back to work. But an entrepreneurship is totally different. Now you have a studio where you have people working for you, so you can go away for 6 months and it's making you money. I'm happy to not drive a Range Rover. I'm happy to be living in a one-bedroom, cottage. As long as I could get up, travel, go anywhere in the world that I want, anytime. I could nap anytime that I want. For me, that's freedom. That's financial freedom. People take it, differently. Like, oh, I don't know, want to make millions. I don't think there's any photographer died a millionaire. I don't think so. It's just knowing what you really need in life and what will satisfy you financially, and anything else don't matter. Because at the end, it's your passion. That's what you wanted to do. That's the real fulfillment. Go for it. You don't want to, 10 years, 20 years later, be like, I wish if I did that, go for it. Sometimes you work, sometimes you won't work out. If you're really passionate about it, but it's not easy. Sometimes you have to struggle. And if you're not passionate enough, you give up. And if your work is not good enough, money won't come in. But go for your passion. I mean, that's freedom.
Well, Emmanuel Jambo's story now takes us to our leading indicators this week, starting off with Forex and stocks. Let's take a look at the prices of groceries across supermarkets this week. Well, that's all we had for you this week on Moolah Insider. My name is Masi Milanoi, and a big thank you to the 5-Star Gaming Lounge here at the heart of Nairobi CBD for hosting us for this episode of eSport. Remember to log on to www.moolah.co.ke and link with us on our social media pages for more stories. See you next week.